At 2 p.m., the Persian Gulf explodes. A massive fireball rips through the flight deck of the USS Abraham Lincoln. Hypersonic missiles rain down at Mach 5. The ocean boils. It looks like the end of the United States Navy, but pause the tape. Look closer. The sailors are wearing uniforms from World War II. The ships are motionless targets. This is not real. It is a terrifying new AI video released by Iran. This is a direct challenge. Iran is flipping the middle finger to American power. They are broadcasting a fantasy where they crush a supercarrier. Why now? This video dropped days after a real United States F-35C shot down an Iranian drone. Tensions are razor thin. One wrong move and this digital fantasy turns into a bloody reality. This is information warfare. Iran knows they cannot win a fair fight, so they attack your mind. They want to psych out the Navy. They think a burning carrier makes them look strong. But they made a massive miscalculation. They forgot that the United States Navy does not sit still and wait to die. They shoot back. If you want to see exactly how the United States destroys this attack in real life, hit subscribe. We are about to run the full combat simulation. Let's step back from the fireballs for a second because this video did not come out of nowhere. It dropped right as nuclear talks in Oman were hitting a brick wall. At the same time, the USS Abraham Lincoln carrier group is parked right off the coast of Iran. It is a floating city of steel and a visible reminder to Tehran to play nice. The leadership in Iran is feeling the heat. They need to look tough for their own people and distract from a failing economy. So, they fire up the AI computers and create a victory that never happened. But here is the scary part. The weapons in the video are real. They show saturation tactics, which means firing so many cheap drones and missiles that the American defense systems run out of ammo. They show the Fata-2, which is a hypersonic missile they claim can bypass any shield. They are bragging about hiding these missiles on small and civilian ships. This is the asymmetric threat. They know they cannot match the United States dollar for dollar, so they try to trade a $20,000 drone for a $2 million American missile. They want to bankrupt the defense grid. For the sailors on the Lincoln, this is not a game because every time they launch a jet, they are flying into a zone where the enemy is actively practicing how to kill them. The video is propaganda, but the intent is deadly serious. The Iranian regime is telling its people that they can do this, and they are telling the United States to stay away or else. It is a high-stakes poker game, and the chips on the table are human lives. This video is their way of saying they are ready to flip the table over. But are they really ready? Or is this just a desperate bluff from a regime that knows it is outgunned? We need to look at the math because a carrier group has layers of defense, but Iran has thousands of drones. If even one gets through, it changes history. The fear is not that Iran wins the war, but that they start a war by accident because they believe their own hype. The United States Navy is watching this video too, and they are not impressed because they are simply calculating coordinates. Forget the AI video and let us look at reality because the ocean does not care about propaganda. It is 2 p.m. in the Arabian Sea, and the sun is beating down on the flight deck of the USS Abraham Lincoln. High above at 25,000 feet, the E-2D Advanced Hawkeye is circling quietly. This is the eye of the fleet, and its massive radar sees everything for hundreds of miles. Suddenly, the radar screen inside the Hawkeye lights up like a Christmas tree. It is not one blip, and it is not 10. It is a cloud. A massive swarm of Shahed 136 drones is lifting off from the Iranian coast 200 miles away. They are moving slow at about 120 miles per hour like flying lawnmowers, but there are hundreds of them, and they are all heading one way. Inside the Combat Information Center on the destroyer, the mood shifts instantly from boredom to adrenaline. The coffee is put down and the jokes stop. A young specialist watches the tracks turn from yellow to red on his screen. He presses his headset to his ear to make sure he is seeing it right. Vampire, vampire, vampire. The call goes out over the net. This is the code for incoming missiles or drones. The reaction is instant because the USS Abraham Lincoln does not wait for permission to survive. 4. F-35C Lightning II jets roar off the catapults in seconds. These are not just fighters, they are flying supercomputers. They push their throttles to the stops and engines scream with 43,000 pounds of thrust as they tear into the sky. Right behind them are the EA-18G Growlers. These planes do not shoot bullets, they shoot invisible beams of energy. They blast high-power jamming signals directly at the drone swarm. Before a single shot is fired, dozens of Iranian drones lose their connection to their controllers. They start spinning out of control and crashing uselessly into the ocean. The saturation attack is already thinning out before it even gets close. The American pilots are calm because they have trained for this exact moment every single day. They engage targets from miles away, using their sensors to pick off the leaders. The AI video showed the ships sleeping, but reality shows them waking up with a vengeance. The first layer of the shield is active and it is holding strong, but the radar operators know this is just the opening jab. The real heavy hits are still coming. The pilots check their fuel and weapons. They know the sky is about to get very crowded. The commander on the bridge grips the rail. He knows that in modern war you only have seconds to decide who lives and who dies. The order is given to clear the deck for more launches. The air is filled with the smell of jet fuel and the sound of pure power. This is what a superpower looks like when it is angry. The drones keep coming as a relentless wave of suicide machines, but the United States Navy has a hammer for every nail. The first shots have been fired and the war has officially begun. The drones were just the first wave to wake up the fleet. Now comes the heavy metal because Iranian truck-mounted launchers are firing ballistic missiles. These things are fast and they arc high into the atmosphere, aiming to come down on the carrier deck at supersonic speeds. This is exactly what the propaganda video boasted about because they think speed kills. The United States destroyers surrounding the carrier go to work immediately. The vertical launch tubes on the deck burst open with a deafening roar. Whoosh! The SM-6 missiles fly out. These are the heavy hitters of the fleet. They accelerate to Mach 3.5, which is over 3 times the speed of sound. They are hunting the incoming threats. It is a math problem now because Iran has launched 50 missiles. The fleet has hundreds of interceptors. The sky turns into a chaotic web of white smoke trails. Explosions bloom high in the air as the SM-6S collide with the incoming threats. It looks like fireworks, but each flash is a $1 million collision. The noise on the deck is deafening, and the ships shudder with every launch. Inside the ships, the crews are working in perfect sync. Track 402 splashed. Track 403 splashing. The sheer number of targets is the problem, because the Iranian strategy is to make the Americans run out of bullets before they run out of drones. It is a massive stress test for the system. The F-35S are now deep in the fight, and they are not just defending anymore. They are hunting the launch sites on the ground. They use their stealth to slip through enemy radar like ghosts. They send data back to the ship saying launchers located. Tomahawk cruise missiles begin their flight from United States submarines underwater. The hunter becomes the hunted. For a second, the radar screen clears and the first wave is gone. The ocean is silent again except for the burning debris falling from the sky. The sailors take a breath and sweat drips down their faces. Is that it? And is it over? The captain looks at the horizon because he knows better. The enemy has not played their ace card yet. The Fata, 2 hypersonic missiles, have not shown up on the screens. And the water is looking suspicious. The radar was looking up at the space, but it should have been looking down at the surface. The real trap is about to spring. The silence is heavier than the noise of the battle. Every sensor is pushed to the limit. The heat is rising in the command center. They know the enemy is reloading. The next wave will be faster and harder. The United States Navy braces for impact. Suddenly, the surface search radar screams a new warning. It is not a missile from the sky, but a swarm on the water. Emerging from the coastal fog are hundreds of small, fast boats. These are the IRGC speedboats. They are small and fast and hard to hit with big missiles. They are like a swarm of angry bees buzzing toward a bear. The AI video showed big explosions from space, but this is the real danger right here on the surface. These boats are packed with explosives. They do not need to sink the carrier because they just need to hit a destroyer or a supply ship to claim a victory. They move erratically, weaving through the waves like madness. Surface contacts close range. The bridge officers grab their binoculars. The horizon is filled with white wakes. This is the knife fight range. The big missiles are useless here. They are too fast and too close. This was the plan all along. Distract the high-tech radar with drones in the sky, then stab them in the gut with cheap boats on the water. It is a classic street fight tactic. The sophisticated Aegis system is confused for a split second. The system has to switch modes from ballistic defense to surface warfare. That split second is all the enemy needs. The boats are closing the gap. 5 miles, 4 miles. They are coming for a suicide run. The crew on the deck can now see the Iranian flags waving on the speedboats. The tension snaps. The captain screams orders. The machine guns are manned. This is not about technology anymore. It is about brute force. The swarm is trying to overwhelm the ship from every angle. The water is churning with engines. The sailors brace themselves against the railing. They can see the pilots in the boats. It is personal now. The trap has sprung, and the distance is closing fast. 3 miles, 2 miles. The first boat accelerates. The sailors know that if one of these boats hits the hull, it will blow a hole the size of a house. The radar is cluttered with noise. The target tracking system is struggling to lock onto so many small moving objects. It feels like the ocean itself is attacking. The sophisticated billion-dollar warship is now fighting for its life against fiberglass boats. The twist is not a new weapon, but an old one used in a new way. The enemy is betting everything on this rush. The order is screamed over the radio to open fire. Weapons free. The United States Navy stops being polite and starts being lethal. The Super Hornets overhead dive down from the clouds like hawks. They switch from their high-tech missiles to their old-school 20mm cannons. The sound tears through the air. It is a low growl that vibrates in your chest. The water erupts around the speedboats as heavy rounds tear through fiberglass and engines. On the ships, the last line of defense wakes up. The Phalanx CIWS spins up. It looks like a robot with a giant Gatling gun, and it sounds like a terrifying buzzsaw. It spits out 4,500 rounds per minute. A wall of tungsten bullets flies out toward the incoming boats and cuts them in half. Tracers light up the ocean surface like a deadly laser show. Boats explode into splinters and fireballs roll across the waves. One Iranian boat breaks through the line of fire and heads straight for the destroyer. It is 500 yards away. The 25mm chain guns on the deck open up with a rhythmic boom boom boom. The boat disintegrates instantly and disappears under the water. But in the sky, a couple of drones slip through while everyone was watching the water. They dive at the carrier with a high-pitched whine. The ram launchers on the side of the carrier activate automatically. They fire rolling airframe missiles that spiral out seeking the heat of the drone engines. Flash, flash. 2 explosions bloom right above the ship. Shrapnel rains down on the deck, clinking against the steel like hail. It is absolute chaos with threats from the air and the sea at the same time. The sailors are sweating and shouting targets. The ship heels over as it turns hard to avoid debris, but the network holds strong. The F-35s are picking off the stragglers with ruthless efficiency. The helicopters are launching Hellfire missiles at the remaining boats. The saturation has failed because the sheer volume of fire from the United States group is overwhelming. The ocean is burning. The noise is unbearable, but slowly the red dots on the screen disappear. One by one, the guns stop spinning. The smoke clears slowly to reveal the carnage. The sea is full of burning wrecks, but the USS Abraham Lincoln is still cutting through the water unharmed. The apocalypse from the video did not happen because the floating fortress held the line against everything they threw at it. The crew looks out at the smoke rising from the water and realizes they have survived the swarm. The adrenaline is still pumping, but the immediate danger is sinking to the bottom of the Gulf. The carrier survives. In the real world, the United States Navy layered defense is simply too thick to break. The E-2D saw them too early, and the Phalanx cleaned up the mess. The Iranian forces lost millions of dollars in equipment and hundreds of personnel in just minutes, while the United States fleet took 0 hits. But here is the catch. The United States won the battle, but might have lost the war of economics. To shoot down those cheap drones, the Navy fired missiles that cost $2 million each. Iran can build drones faster than the United States can build interceptors. This is the cost curve problem. If this happens every day, the defense budget breaks. So why did Iran make that AI video? Because it is the only way they can win. They cannot sink the carrier in real life, so they sink it on YouTube. It is a psychological weapon designed to brainwash their citizens into thinking the regime is powerful. It suppresses dissent at home with a fake victory. This battle teaches us that the era of the invincible ship is over. The threat of cheap drones is real. The United States Navy is facing an enemy that does not mind losing 100 units just to land one hit. Iran is watching and learning. They know the video was fake, but they are working hard to make the next one real. The Lincoln is safe today, but what happens when the AI gets smarter? The next time the alarms sound, it will not be a movie. Hit that like button if you think the United States is ready for the future of warfare. Tell me in the comments if you think lasers are the answer to the drone swarm. See you in the next briefing.